everybody's been talking about it as if it's great acting. It's the most natural thing you can do. That's what makes this film great, I think, is the realism, the authenticity.
Totally.
If you put a regular guy in these circumstances, how are they going to handle themselves?
Right. I'm joined by a legend, an icon. By the way, a man with, I think, the best jawline in Hollywood as well.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I'll take it.
Rami Malek's here. How are you, dudes?
Happy Friday, everyone.
Thank you for coming in nice and early.
It's a pleasure to be here. I can't wait for you guys to see this film. And it's a glorious day, isn't it?
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to be releasing a beautiful, wonderful, incredible, gripping movie, Rami.
Oh, I love that.
I was just saying, I got to see it early. I got to see it early, quite literally. We had an early screening, myself and producer Jacob over there. And it was quite intense for a morning, but it's a brilliant film. So if you are at a loose end tonight, if you've got a date night plan, if you're going to go out this weekend, highly recommend getting to the cinema and going to see this film, The Amateur. It's really, really great.
Oh, I appreciate that so much.
Are you a morning person in general? Can we get you a coffee? Is there anything you need?
I know. I've had a couple of coffees.
You've had a few coffees.
I've had a few. I'm good.
Do you know what's interesting? I keep reading about Hollywood actors' morning routines. And can you demyth this, please? Does everybody in Hollywood get up at 3 a.m. and go to the gym and then they have like all the protein by 4 a.m.? What's your routine?
No, absolutely not. I mean, here's the other thing is, sometimes we're in a makeup chair at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., and then you're in front of a camera by 6, maybe 5:30, 6.
Right.
I mean, that's an odd time to be acting for anyone.
So
I don't think anybody in Hollywood really wants to get up to do anything else when they have to do that.
True.
To do that. They get to do that. But there are a few people who have, I guess you can see online who represent themselves that way. I don't.
Are you saying perhaps?
I don't know.
I'm not saying let's get into this.
No.
You're saying it might just be for the video.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think most of them are night owls.
Right.
I think it's hard to wind down after work. And then they go out for a little drink. And
that's an interesting point. I've not really thought about that. With a film like this, actually, The Amateur, which is so intense. How are you winding down after a day on set? What were you doing? How did you get yourself ready for bed? It's
always been tricky for me because I found myself playing these characters with a lot going on psychologically, adrenaline fueled. It's after Bohemian Rhapsody, it was hard to come down after those incredible highs. I imagine it was hard after every show that they had as a band, and for this character who is constantly globetrotting from one city to the other. It was run and gun. We would start in London. We'd be shooting in St. Pancras. We were taking off to Paris and then going off to Marseille and then Istanbul. You'll see it all over the film.
We got a ping in Rome.
He's in London.
He just got on a bus in Prague.
He practically invented half of our surveillance.
Maybe y'all misjudged this individual.
It's tricky winding down. You try. You could go out for a drink, and that only lasts so long before that starts to get a little bit painful. And,
you can't do 3 months of that.
Yeah, you can't do 3 months of that. No, you got to find a way to either meditate, have a cup of tea. I've taken up that kind of British tradition.
I was going to say watch a film, but I guess that's the last thing you want to do is watch another film. That is making one.
No, you want to watch something. Maybe a comedy.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
A nice
just
little
Family Guy. Family Guy, please.
Yeah, something silly.
Yeah.
Have a chat with friends. That's it.
This new film is out today. It's called The Amateur. Essentially, you're a CIA decoder, I guess is what I was getting from it.
Yeah, analyst, decoder, cryptographer. Yeah.
Okay, tell us all about the film because you play a character which starts off all innocent. But, my God, does not end it.
No, not at all. I think the least expected person to put the lead of an action film.
Yeah.
I love the Bournes. I love the Bonds. I love Mission Impossibles. And I thought to myself, how am I going to get to play that character? And so I found the story about a man who works at the CIA, goes kind of unrecognized day to day.
Do you ever account for the things I'm good at?
There's a terrorist attack in the film, and he loses the great love of his life. It's not a spoiler because it happens quite early in the film.
Your wife has been killed.
And the CIA will do nothing about it.
I want mission-specific training, cash, and a new identity.
Have you lost your mind?
want to find and kill the people who murdered my wife.
I don't think you could beat a 90-year-old nun in an arm wrestling match.
He gets so frustrated, he takes it upon himself, realizes he can't shoot a gun to save his life.
You can't do what I do no matter how much I train you. You're just not a killer, Charlie.
And so he comes up with this ingenious way of taking people down. And they keep getting more intense as the film goes on, and I don't think it's like anything we've seen in quite some time or ever. But it's got a old school thriller throwback vibe,
Totally.
with an inventiveness that we haven't seen before.
That's bang on. I didn't even think about the Bourne films, but they're some of my absolute favourites. It's really got tones of that. But again, you know, you expect that from watching Bourne, but you don't expect it from watching the character you play. So you're right, it's not been done before. I know you're a producer on this film as well. So was there a script that was given to you first, and then you got on board as a producer? What drew you to the character?
We had finished Bohemian Rhapsody, and the studio came and said, "What do you want to do next?" I said, "Believe it or not, I'd love to do an action film."
Okay.
And Bond came along and got to play the villain in that. That was incredible.
Phenomenal, by the way. Phenomenal.
What an experience. It's film history.
God,
right
it really
there.
is.
And then, to that point, I read this script and I thought it wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. And I thought, as a producer, I could develop it, get the right writers on it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot you can do. When I was younger, I thought the script was the script, and you realize how much influence you can have on it. I found this great director. Well, I didn't find him. I watched Slow Horses and loved that show. And the director, James Hawes, was, I think, the perfect fit to come on board. And we just started putting together this story, and I thought, what crazy situations can we put Charlie in? And see him work his way out MacGyver style in the most explosive ways. I thought that would be thrilling for an audience. And I hadn't seen something like Bourne in quite some time.
Totally, I agree.
A little spin on it.
Did you also get to pick the locations you went to? You're like, we need more travel. Let's go to Istanbul. Really want to go there. Because people would assume that maybe it was a lot, CG and you just on a set, but you really went to these places, right? You traveled around.
Yeah, we did. And you're not wrong. As a producer, you get to pick which locations. We were going to shoot this in a different city. I said, no, let's cut a few days off. It's pricier to shoot in the UK. You have the best crews, and I mean, it's some of the greatest films of all time have been made in the UK. You can go elsewhere and do it cheaper, but I said, let's take a few days off the schedule, and we're going to shoot predominantly in London, which we did, and that was fantastic. And then, you get to pick Paris. Paris is often a location for films like this, but Marseille is not.
Yep, true.
So we went down to Marseille, and that served as a gorgeous backdrop for some of actually the grittiest parts of the film, as well as getting to see parts of southern France. But
it's a good ad. It's a good ad for Marseille.
It's a good ad for Marseille.
Yeah.
And then,
maybe not the death bits, but other than that, go to Marseille.
And then Istanbul. That was not in the original script or in the book, but we added it just to give this feeling of really throwing someone who was just this tiny cog in the wheel in literal foreign territory.
Yeah.
And he's not someone who really enjoys traveling much to begin with.
Right. Yeah, you can tell that in his character. Do you know what's cool as well? It's always fun to see the places you've been to on holiday. You're like, oh, let's cross that bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Istanbul is an amazing place as well, isn't it? Where was the sky pool? Because there's one of those in London.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, that was the CGI'd bit. They'd taken that sky pool, but there must be multiple of those sky pools now.
No, there is that. That's the one we went to.
The London one.
Yeah.
Ah, you were right, Jacob.
You were right.
Smart man. I was like, I've swum in that swimming pool. It looks exactly the same.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, no, my friend lives there.
Would you go back?
Not after seeing that.
No, hell
By the
no.
way, that's one of the best scenes in that film. That death scene is incredible.
Okay.
It's incredible.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. What were you watching though when that was happening? Because obviously the glass isn't actually cracking in real life, obviously. So what are you looking at?
Well, using my imagination.
A tennis ball.
No, I was able to look down on it.
Yeah.
And we had a pre-visualization.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you could see what it was going to look like.
Okay.
But we actually did on a stage here. We had huge glass encasement filled with water, and it exploded.
Oh, right. You just mixed it together.
Exactly.
Oh, sweet.
It was fascinating the way it was done, but the charge, the power, the physical kind of blowback from that is immense.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You can only, you can.
Oh, that's really cool.
I mean, there's a scene in the film where I flinch at an explosion, and everybody's been talking about it as if it's great acting. It's the most, it's the most natural thing you can do. And you never see it in films like
Well,
this.
the whole gunshot scene, when you're learning to shoot the gun, we were flinching the whole time. I don't know how you do that as well. How you don't flinch the whole way through those things.
That's what makes this film great, I think, is the realism, the authenticity.
Totally.
If you put a regular guy in these circumstances, how are they going to handle themselves?
Right. Speaking of which, you see at the start of the film, you're kind of like building a plane. And then at the end, it's the finished product, and there you are. Is that really you flying a plane? Have you got a pilot's license?
I did get to fly the plane.
Did you?
Yes.
That's amazing.
You're giving away way too much.
Sorry,
here,
I know
by
there's a
the way.
spoiler at the end. I know there's a spoiler at the end.
Stop it.
Sorry. But as a guy who's got a pilot's license, I was like, is that,
do you?
I was like, is that real? Because you were flying it well.
Yeah. I took lessons for that.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm no Tom Cruise, but
No, you'll get there. You'll get
I tried
there.
to do as much as possible.
No, that's really, really cool. No more spoilers. I think it's one of those films where you want the big popcorn. You want the big drink. You just want to go all in.
Yeah, that's the one thing we kept saying. What makes this special? What makes this one of those events that you have to leave your house for?
Yeah.
You're not going to watch on your phone. You're not
Correct.
going to watch on the plane.
It's exactly that.
Yeah, so we wanted to fill it with as many of those set pieces that just kind of were, I hate to say it, but explosive.
Yeah.
They are. They're charged. There's so much tension all the way through. It's like you feel something looming, and it grows and grows and grows. And there's humor in there, and there's a love story in there. But at the same time, it is an action espionage thriller that demands a wide, massive screen.
Yeah, it does.
With that sound.
Yeah, that's it.
It's an adventure.
You're not going to get that on your AirPods, watching it on your little phone at home. Trust me.
No.
Like you said, it is by no means a comedy, but there was a particular moment that we were laughing away at in the cinema where and I'm not going to give a spoiler away, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're watching a YouTube tutorial.
Yeah, I mean, you are going to spoil the whole film.
I'm not going to give away what you're doing here.
All right, fine.
But you're watching a YouTube tutorial to try and learn something.
Yes.
And that was a particularly funny moment because it's so true to life, and like you are so humanized in that moment as this guy who is learning on the job. And it made me think, is there anything that you have had to pull up a YouTube tutorial for in recent life where you're like, I embarrassingly don't actually know how to do this? I had to get an electrician round to put in a light bulb, for example. And I realised, could have just YouTubed that. That's embarrassing for me, but I've admitted that now.
Is that true?
It is true. I've just moved house and I was like, God, this looks too complicated. Embarrassing.
I almost did this. I haven't done. I tried to rewire some electricity. That's probably the most ridiculous, stupid thing you could do in your own home.
Yeah, I would never dare.
But I've seen it done on set so many times. They call them the sparks here.
Yeah.
But they can do anything so quickly, and I love not being in my trailer and watching how everything's done on set. So I'm always confounded by actors who just they lock themselves up and don't get to see. Don't get to see all the machinations of what goes on while we're preparing to go in front of the camera. But
how did that go? Did the watching
it didn't go well. Well, I got all the lighting to work, and then I thought, what if something happened? What if there is a fire? I'm completely responsible for this. So I took it all down, and YouTube is not always the answer.
No, it's really not. But you're just trusting a person you've never met to tell you important information.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's not the way forward.
No.
So nothing you've actually pulled up a YouTube tutorial for that you can remember?
I don't know. Maybe something with the washer, dryer, or a Hoover. I don't know. Something
See, we're the same. The light bulb's not so funny now.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
But that moment in the film, we did go back and forth and say, is this going to be funny? Is this going to work? And we tried it on the day, and everybody got a little chuckle.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It's a good laugh.
Especially when it says like, comment, subscribe at the end. It's like, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
There it is. No more spoilers.
All right.
Right, it's over to everybody else to go and see it now. The Amateur, out today in cinemas all over the UK. Rami, you've been an absolute joy. Thanks for hanging out this morning.
You have. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate
Thank you all
Rami
for
Malek,
going.
everybody.
Appreciate you. Have a
Cheers,
great
dude.
weekend.